the general manager from WKTV, Steve McMurray, standing by right now, making the phone call that he really didn't see himself making on Friday morning, or on Saturday for that matter. Steve McMurray, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Well, I was saying earlier, I in my mind, I had you inside your home, slow motion, running to the, maybe Chariots of Fire is playing in the background. You're slow motion running to the phone like, what is going on?
Who's there?
Yeah.
Something like
Pretty
that.
close. No, it was better. We were actually at a Kentucky Derby party.
Oh.
So as they're, putting the horses in the gate, and all of a sudden I see the brake roll, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, oh no, I think I know what's happening. But it is. It's when you can see the car accident from a distance, but you can't prevent it.
And meanwhile, all these people are probably, all of a sudden,
staring
they're
right at
turning
you.
to you like, what's going on here?
All 40 pairs of eyes, including my kids. What's going on?
Oh, boy.
And one of those deals, too, and I learned a long time ago that when something like that happens, because, when I was news director, at times you would have bosses that would call and be yelling, hey, this is going on. It's like, Yep, I know, and me talking to you is not helping me fix it.
You're so right about that. I cannot tell you.
Yeah.
We get calls from people, and this, I guess I won't get too much into this, but it's like, let's say someone calls the front desk, and the front desk then calls and says, hey, Jeff, I just got a Bob on line 2, and I'm like, I know. I understand. We have a problem here, and I can't fix it when I'm talking to you.
Yeah. So how do you handle that? Do you text, or what do you do?
Well, so I texted a couple people. I got some responses, and they, and they're working on it. And again, in our business, we know 2 minutes is an eternity, and now the rest of Joe Public knows that 2 minutes is an eternity. As it was going, but and they got it. It was just in this world of automation. You guys know this probably better than most. These types of things happen, and the person who was up there did the best to get a workaround to get it back on the air as soon as they could, because it could honestly, believe it or not, although I find it hard to believe, but it could have been worse.
Yeah, you could have missed the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's with the glitch that happened, like it could have rolled break after break.
Right. It could. If you have a 4-minute stop set there, it just keeps playing commercials.
Right.
You can't stop.
Right.
It.
So so they did that, and but again, if you've ever seen your life pass in front of your eyes, that was about as close as it can come, because at that point you're just helpless, and look, that's why I as soon as I left the party to not bring the rest of the party down, came home and made several phone calls, one to our corporate folks, one to NBC, and obviously typed out an apology to the viewers, because they depended on us, and we let them down, and they have a right to be upset. Now, obviously, some of the Facebook comments went off in another direction and took some pot shots at our staff and me and my family, and but that's sort of to be expected in the world we live in.
I don't get that. That's just crazy. Your family stinks because you did this.
It is. I don't understand how we all become experts at everything when something like this happens, but people instantly
let me explain
do,
it to you
so.
then, Bill.
Richard, can you send an email, please?
But I think I got to tell you, for us, it's kind of funny. This morning, I was in the middle of talking about it, and Jeff fired a commercial to be funny. And what we didn't realize, though, is that our live stream,
on the app,
once a commercial airs, it fires a whole break. So that fired, and anyone listening online or through the app didn't hear any of it because we went to break. So it shows you how these automation things can happen, and it's just listen, you guys. It's not like the old days where you had one station to deal with. You guys have 4 stations now that you're dealing with. So automation plays a role. We certainly understand that here. So stuff happens.
No, stuff happens, and like I said, folks have every right to be upset. We apologized, we acknowledged it. We're making some changes to avoid this type of stuff in the future. Again, the milk doesn't get unspilled at that point, but
right.
we're also not just saying, oh, whatever, too bad, but it was, like I said, it was when you look at the Facebook comments and the various other things, it was, disheartening. And again, the folks that are upset about it have every right to be. I was one of them. I was watching the race too, or
right.
maybe. But when you go off in a separate direction, it's the nature of the beast. I get it, but.
We got to have you on the Christmas show, and you can read some of these comments.
That would be.
Actually, I don't think I can. You should have seen the ones that are blocked. Oh my God!
Oh, I can only imagine.
Goodness.
The funny thing is, we live in a society today where, with technology, if you miss the Kentucky Derby, you can find it in 9,000 places. Some of them are legal, some are bootleg, but you can find it to be able, if you had to watch it back. And ultimately, it kind of worked in your favor. Because while everyone was complaining about the fact that they didn't get to see the first minute, all of a sudden a new controversy popped up to take all the air out of the room.
True.
Yeah.
And well, that's what I was hoping, but it didn't really help. real quick story. You guys are gonna like this. I'm calling these people and putting an apology together. I get the text that Maximum Security's been disqualified. I'm like, what else is going to happen?
Yeah.
All I could think of was, you remember that Cheers episode when Cliff Clavin bought the video camera and realized he had no tape in it, and the grandfather wheels out and stands for the first time in 20 years, and the kid returns home from the military, and they're all cheering, and they go, and we all got it on tape. And that's all I could think of was going through my head after that.
Well, and as a general manager, Steve, you got to be happy. You've got one happy client that's probably increasing their buy exponentially this morning.
Boy, how much was that commercial worth, huh?
Oh man, yeah. I don't know how that's gonna turn. I've got to. It's going to be an interesting day today, because I can't wait to get to my desk and see what voicemails await me as well.
Well, was it Laser Spa? Was that the commercial that played? The most valuable bonus ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Right there. So, well, listen, stuff happens, and this is just one of those biggies. And what are you going to do? The fact that you come out and you were talking about it yesterday, and you're taking it head on, I think that people respect that.
Well, I hope so. Like I said, it's on us. This is nothing that we can, point fingers at. It's on us. Look at if we're going to tout ourselves when we win awards, we've got to take the other side of it too. So.
Steve McMurray, WKTV. Thanks for taking the time this morning. I do really appreciate it.
All right, thanks, guys.
Okay. And Wayne wants to pipe in just quickly on the Derby. Did you watch it, Wayne?
You know what, Bill? I get into it heavily, along with the other degenerate.
Yeah.
But will this take the attention off of the Mueller case?
I kind of wonder. I mean, I had said that this morning. I mean, it's like some release from politics that we probably all could use for just a little.
You know what?
bit.
I had the winner, Bill. I had the winner, and by the time I did get to look up, I'm like, hey, I missed the whole race and everything, and I'm like, oh wow, I got it anyway, and then I hear all the the whole thing, what's going on. Then I see the objection come up. I'm like, oh, this is great. Then they throw my horse out, but then they put this big exacta up there, $3,000 exacta. So,
So you did. You did okay.
Good luck, man.
Yeah. All right, Wayne. We appreciate it, and I can't imagine you're a degenerate. I'm sure you're just fine. So
no. I'm telling you. Later.
All right, Wayne.
Bye, Wayne.